importance of that for future projects, a vision. And it just took 5 people to start that vision. And we have to make that message available to everybody to do that, take that initiative. And I'm so proud of you guys to do that.
Thank you. Absolutely. I had one thing, if we could talk a little bit, you could share a little more detail about how the Muddy Fork and the recreational park kind of in tandem work together.
The lake itself is planned to be a recreational type lake as well as a water supply lake for the community.
Okay.
We plan to have fishing, we have trails that are planned to go around it. Eventually down the road, we have room to what we hope to put a camping area
Okay.
in front that will be available. And the back end of the lake will connect with the state forestry, who has trails coming through that area already, so we'll be connected to those trails. And it is just across the railroad track that's not a railroad anymore
Right.
from our present park. And down the road, we hope that it will actually become part of our park system.
Okay.
Right now, it's not, but that's the future plan.
The future vision. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Les, what size is the lake? Is what
The lake, when it's full, is supposed to be approximately 185 acres of surface water.
How's that compared to Dean Lake? Is that smaller than
It's
Dean?
slightly smaller than Dean. I believe Dean is 190 some odd acres, but we're very similar.
Okay. What about mountain bike trails? When you talk about trails, is there gonna be access to guys who ride mountain bikes, or is it just hiking?
We do not have that planned at the moment, and one of the reasons I think that we don't have that planned is because it is planned to be a water supply lake, and the less activity around it as far as
Erosion?
erosion.
Mhm.
It's in a perfect location. All of the tributaries that lead into this lake area, there is no farmland around it at all. It's a pristine area for a water supply. And we really feel that it's
Yeah.
very,
Absolutely.
very important to our
Sounds
water company as well.
All right. Any other questions for Les or for Brenna? All right. I'm looking for a motion to allow the River Hills team. I'm just reminding everyone, our process again is once projects come forward for approval to move forward, that's to submit your project to the IEDC portal by River Hills. So again, I'm looking for a motion to allow River Hills team to submit, which would be, the Board and Recreation to the IEDC grant for approval.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, as always, any other discussion? I'll go ahead and ask for a roll call vote, and I'm going to start with Steve,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and Dana is a yes. The motion carries.
Thank you so much.
All right, and we'll keep in touch. Thank you for your presentation today. Appreciate it. All right, the next, I want to invite forward the South Monon Freedom Trail. I want to invite you forward to share some more information about your project.
Absolutely. Good morning.
Good morning.
On behalf of Mayor Gahan and the city of New Albany, I want to thank you all for allowing us to be here today and inviting us up. My name is Shane Gibson. I'm corporate counsel for the city of New Albany. And with me is Larry Summers, our city engineer, who's kind of the boots on the ground gentleman. So
Okay.
if you don't mind, I do have a couple maps I wouldn't mind giving you all if you just have it, because Larry will use them in his discussion with you. of the
Absolutely.
changes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, Shane. Thanks.
So the South Monon Freedom Trail is kind of the offspring of decades of projects that the city of New Albany's been doing. Some ideas that started with staff, when I say decades, I'm talking 30 years ago, of figuring out ways when IUS was first built to connect IUS to downtown with some kind of, I think the original thinking was some kind of trolley or something of that nature. Obviously, those things never came to fruition, but through the Ohio River Greenway, through obviously the projects that you're supporting, the ideas came of connecting that ability. And then the catalyst, or the one that really brought a lot of it together, was the CSX trail abandonment, which is a approximately 68-mile trail run through Borden that we just talked about. I think I heard him talk about the railroad, that connects to New Albany all the way up to basically Bedford is what this path is. So that was kind of the ultimate, I guess, last thing that brought a lot of the pieces together of how to make this a potential thing. What Larry's going to go to is Larry's actually going to get into the details a little bit of what our request is and the change. The original request was also purchase money for that trail. We have been fortunate enough to find some other partners, both economic development partners and state officials who are helping us secure that without the use or need of ready funds to do that. So that will be one change, obviously, is that purchase price is no longer there. So what we'll be looking at is connecting the Ohio River Greenway currently up to where the state officials are going to help us purchase this property. Okay, so that will be from downtown. We already did improvements on Grant Line Road several years ago, which included a pathway, trail pathway. So we kind of have a middle section done. What Larry's going to talk to you is about what we would like to request and use the funds for from you all, is that first phase one there. The FAR phase will come through some assistance from other economic development officials and state officials. And then we'll have to fill in a few gaps there, but we'll diligently work on that. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Larry, let him talk about the details of the request and the slight changes.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Good morning.
Again, I'm Larry Summers, City Engineer for New Albany, and this request through the READY grant for the $4 million is going to work in conjunction with a grant that the City of New Albany has already received from Next Level Trails, and approximately $2 million. Those funds are going to allow us to construct a trail from the Ohio River Greenway and extend that up to approximately Jackson Street in New Albany, or the Fairview Cemetery, which has quite a few trails in it as well. This is going to be supported by other projects that the City of New Albany has done and is currently undergoing, and approximately $10.5 million worth of supporting projects, including Silver Creek Trail, Ohio River Greenway Extension, access to Silver Creek for fishing and kayaking, and a river recreation facility. The City of New Albany over the years has developed a reputation for putting funds to service when they are given. So as funds become available to continue our project forward, we will fill in the gaps in the trails between the regional facility and the portion that we are constructing with these funds. In the maps, you'll be able to see the portion that we are trying to construct with the funds that are coming from READY and Next Level Trails. It is going to connect 10th Street at the man door through the flood wall, all the way up through the downtown corridor in New Albany, and then again up to the Fairview Cemetery in Jackson Street. The current schedule for this project has us completing the construction documents in late summer of 2024, and then we would be under construction by the end of 2024 and having construction complete before the end of 2026. So the portions of the schedule are provided in the packet. If you have any additional questions, I can provide more detail on that, but I think that what we've done is provide a project that will create a regional facility that will connect every portion of this regional development with the City of New Albany, and so I think that.
All right.
For any questions, we do feel like this is a project that we're excited to be. Hope you're excited to be partnering with us. It connects the Borden recreational facility that we were just talking about. Obviously continues down past IUS, continues into New Albany. gets to the Ohio River Greenway, which we're all thrilled, that's done. And even then extends over into Origin Park, which is another applicant that's receiving funding and everything else. And it extends actually, I think, even over to the Clarksville Marathon site in
Okay.
that area too. So,
Right.
so we're excited about the touches that this project has. It touches three of the projects that you guys are excited about and help
Right.
fund. And it also just extends the potentiality for a truly trail that will be the longest in Indiana,
Wow.
longer than any others, and could potentially will hopefully connect Bedford to actually Louisville, Kentucky.
That's great. Shane, I have one question for you and Larry. When you talk about that collaboration, which I think honestly is one of the best things, you just talked about plugging into at least 4 different projects. How are you working with or keeping updated into those other project teams?
So the best one is the mayor does have, or has had regular conversations, I believe, with River Heritage's new director who started this year.
Right.
He's had several meetings with her. With respect to Borden, now that I know Mr. Wright, who was my former athletic director,
Yes,
is on
yeah.
board, he will get a phone call from us.
There we go.
Just to have a discussion about that.
Okay, good.
And then we're open to any other better ways to make sure that we're all working on the same page. I know I see
Absolutely.
Commissioner Carruthers here, so obviously we have discussions with them about that. Some of this will obviously run through Floyd County.
Sure.
We'll want their assistance hopefully in helping maintain, finish that, and get it done.
Right. And then the final, what it's looking like from your timeline here, the construction would be completed August of 2026.
Correct, there's
2026, okay. All right, any other questions that we have for Shane or Larry
Yeah, good project.
on this project? All right, we all know that the health and wellness and of our community and our citizens is definitely top of mind, and this will definitely add to that, so.
You will get a long bike ride if you really want to take it.
There we go, yes.
Ken will volunteer to lead the.
He did already, actually, he did this morning.
We ready to go?
Yes, Greg, you have,
If you're gonna make a motion on this, I didn't hear it, when Ms. Leduc made her presentation, she identified a finite number that was to be awarded.
Yep.
I didn't hear that in this presentation, so I wanna make sure that that's in the minutes.
okay, absolutely. So again, I'm looking for a motion to allow the River Hills team to submit our South Monon Freedom Trail for $4.07 million to the IEDC grant portal for approval, and I'm looking for a motion.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing no other discussion, I will ask for a roll call vote, and I'll start with Steve,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and Dana is a yes, so the motion will carry. And we look forward to hearing more updates. And again, River Hills will be in communication with you.
Sounds great.
All right,
Thank you all very
thank you.
much.
All right, yeah, love the collaboration, love what we're hearing here. So our next, I would like to invite Nova Park forward to the podium so we can get some information and update on Nova Park.
Good morning.
Good morning.
On behalf of the Floyd County Board of Commissioners and Floyd County Redevelopment, we're very thankful and appreciative of being able to come and speak to you today. My name is Don Lopp. I'm the Director of Operations and Planning for the county, and we are here to give you a brief update regarding the county's project, which was the State Road 64 Innovation Corridor, which included Nova Park. Nova Park is a 60-acre innovation and technology campus located between Edwardsville and Georgetown, Indiana. It has been a project that has been on the county's plan since 2011, when the Edwardsville Master Plan took place. We are in the process, we actually broke ground 1,078 days ago, September 19, and through pandemic and COVID and Norfolk Southern Rail permitting process, we are now at the stage of finishing out our innovation infrastructure, which would include also a bypass over the Norfolk Southern Rail. We anticipate that actually those beams to be set within the next 3 weeks.
Okay.
Also, part of that first phase of the project was what we call Building 1 and 2, which is part of our Innovation and Technology Campus, which will house Indiana University Southeast School of Business. Dr. DeFree is here as well as one of our partners. And IU Southeast will be providing entrepreneurial services to startup businesses, not only for Floyd County, but for the region as well. We're here, our project is a component of four items. Item one is the finality of Innovation Parkway, which is underway, which was already been bid through the federal process, which meets ARP standards. The second component of that is our 10,000 square feet of renovation of the historic farmstead into laboratory and entrepreneurial space, which would be buildings 3 and 4 on that site. And that lab space, both wet and dry lab space, is needed in the region for life science and biomedical research, and also will be used by the Indiana University Southeast Natural Science Department as well. Other components in Exploration Way is actually the second road into the development. It also serves as the main entrance to Building 4, which is one of the lab space buildings. And then finally is the gateway improvements along State Road 64 at the I-64 interchange to bring the corridor into both not only Edwardsville but Georgetown. And then we have other projects that we're looking at in the future regarding the town of Georgetown, who has been an excellent partner with us to date.
Wonderful. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Again, what a forward-thinking concept, and teaming with IUS, I think that's a great partner to have on board so that we can continue to advance, like you said, the biomed services and research. Any other questions that we would have for Mr. Lott?
Any other tenants that you foresee coming to the park in the near future? Are you getting a lot of interest in that, Don?
We actually have initiated, we went through our regulatory process to start selling lots. Those lots just went on the 1st of August for the state's site selection website and One Southern Indiana's website. We are putting together a team to aggressively start marketing that. We're kind of rolling that out slowly because we're still building what I call our front door to State Road 64. So once we get that bridge and beam over the railroad, that would complete our main entrance, and that's what we're looking at. So that would be first part of, I would say you're going to have a lot more activity the first part of 23.
Okay. They anticipate finishing that project this year or early next?
It's looking like it may end up going into early next year. The beams, as I said, the beams and deck will be done. It will probably be a question of whether the asphalt, how late the asphalt plants stay open. So the final paving may fall into 23.
Okay. And then my only other question, the total ask, Don, for this project was 4.2?
4.2, yes.
Okay, just want to double check. Any other questions? All right, I'm looking for a motion to allow River Hills to submit Nova Park at $4.2 million to the IEDC grant for approval. So moved. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, second by Steve. Again, any other discussion? Hearing none, I will call for a roll call. Steve?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Dana? Yes. All right, thank you very much today for coming forward today. Thank you. And again, just want to remind everyone, our approvals today, just subject this to move forward by River Hills to our IEDC portal, and they will be in touch to keep you updated with that progress. Our last presentation for today is the Charlestown Flats, and I will invite the team forward for information regarding the Charlestown Flats project, formerly known as the Market Street Commons, I think. So just want to kind of connect that.
Good morning. I think you guys have copies of these, but I want to make sure you have.
Yes, we do, yeah. Okay, sure, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
My name is Kyle Smith, and this is my colleague Chris Mitchell on behalf of the Marion Development Group. We have the subject property at Market Street in Charlestown, Indiana. And as you guys know, we are looking to build 176 units on that property. And we are utilizing taxes and bonds and low-income housing tax credits to build that project. And brief kind of update to that, the IHCDA has issued a red notice on this project for the bond volume. They have assured us that the project will be awarded, but timing is kind of where we're at this point. They haven't given us a firm commitment on timing.
Okay.
We fully anticipate that occurring, but that is kind of where we're at this juncture.
Okay, all right. And again, was there a timeline that you were expecting for approval on those tax credits?
Yes, I would say before the end of the year, we would have the award at that point.
Yeah, so we submitted our pre-application in April, and then they closed the bond round in June.
Okay.
And when they closed the bond round, they basically excluded everyone that wasn't already in the pre-application process. So we got put on a wait list. We're the second project to be awarded tax bond, or bond volume as soon as it's made available.
Okay,
You know, we're hoping that they'll allow us to submit our formal application in maybe October or November, but we think an end-of-the-year award is doable.
okay,
And that would put us for a project financing closing in Q1 of '23, which would be start of construction. And we would be kind of in a position to have construction completed by the end of 2024. And
okay.
yeah,
And we're extremely excited about the project. There is, kind of to add to Chris's points, we will have
176.
full construction documents October 21st, so that can kind of indicate how far we are along in the project.
Okay, all right. So we're looking at 176 units in 7 residential buildings?
Yes.
So is what would be, okay. All right. Do we have any other questions about the Charlestown Flats? Any other questions regarding that project? Again, I think our main question was about the low-income tax credits, and you've answered that for us. So, again, I think everything else is in line. So I'm looking for a motion to allow the River Hills team to submit the the Charlestown Flats project of $2.4 million to the IEDC grant portal for approval.
So moved.
And I'll ask for a second.
I'll second.
All right, any other conversation about this project? Hearing none, I'll call for a roll call vote, and I'll start with Steve,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and Dana is a yes. All right, thank you very much. Look forward to learning more about that as we move along. All right, and thank you for the plan. All right, moving forward, I'm going to invite River Hills, Corey Cochran, to the podium to talk about final RDA project approvals.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Real quick, I don't know if it was mentioned, I didn't think I hear it, but I think it's for a $2.4 million ask on the Charlestown Flats.
Yes, that
Is
is
that
correct.
stated?
I'm sorry if I
Okay.
didn't. Yeah,
That's okay.
2.4
I just
million,
wrote
that
on
is
the note,
correct.
Yeah, the minutes. So, so the next agenda item, so after you all take action on these projects, like you just did, we submit them to the IEDC's grant portal. We work directly with the project leads, Ernst & Young and IEDC, to get any materials that they need to approve these projects. The list of projects under this action item have received formal approval from the IEDC. So it's brought to you today to pass a resolution that solidifies these projects receiving that dollar amount as long as the project continues to move forward. And it allows that project to sign the subrecipient agreement, which is the, lack of a better term, contract that allows their project to move forward. River Hills provides a recommendation for each of these projects to move forward and sign the subrecipient agreement. We're working consistently with each of them. We've started the process of the subrecipient agreement with a couple of them at this point. And then, just so you know, we talked about any projects that we receive from now until, so after you make this resolution, there's that second motion
Right,
at the end of this.
absolutely.
So.
All right, so a little lengthy motion here, but I am looking for a motion to adopt resolution number 2022-R-6. It's a resolution formally approving Ready Projects to certify their funding amount and permission to sign the sub-recipient agreement. Those projects are as follows. Align Southern Indiana Regional Trails for $70,000. the One Fund for $125,000, Origin Park Phase 1 for $8,305,000, Destination Madison Mulberry Street Arts Corridor and Neighborhood Market for $879,283.20. Again, I will be looking for a motion for approval as the projects under resolution number 2022-R-6.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, and again, hearing no other discussion, I will ask for a roll call vote. I'm going to start with Dana. I am approving all, but again, abstaining from anything related to Origin Park Phase 1 due to my involvement on their board. I would also ask Steve for your approval.
Yes.
All right, and Ken?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Yes, all right, motion carries for approval of all the projects as outlined in resolution number 2022-R-6. All right, thank you, gentlemen. All right, so next, again, our next motion was to allow projects. We've talked a lot about what happens in the portal. Sometimes approval will happen after we walk out of this meeting. And as not to delay that, we're looking for a motion to allow any projects that receive formal approval after we leave this meeting from the IEDC, from now until the next meeting, to move forward so that River Hills can enter into the subrecipient grant agreement and begin work. So I would be looking for a motion to approve that process.
So moved.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Any other discussion about what will happen with that process?
Just so everybody knows that we have monthly meetings, and this will allow us to have those projects to get traction before our next meeting.
Right,
So it's
absolutely.
speeding up the process.
And then you would bring them back, the
For a
subrecipient
formal-
agreement would then be ratified at the following meeting, so this is an opportunity to eliminate some slippage of time.
Right, absolutely. So again, I have a motion, I have a second from Steve. Any other discussion? Hearing no other, I'll ask for a roll call vote. Steve?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Dana is a yes. Again, that's to help us to really keep projects moving forward, so that we can keep them on their project plan and their project deadlines. All right, the next, I'm going to invite Corey forward again, RDA project timeline.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this agenda item, this is for you all to have kind of a discussion regarding the timeline of projects that may or may not be moving forward in the future. As you all know, we can talk about the dates here real quick again. As you all know, according to the American Rescue Plan, all of our funds have to be formally obligated by the end of 2024. However, the IEDC is operating on a 2-year biennial budget, which the clock started July 1 of 2021. Therefore, their 2-year clock ends June 30th of 2023. So the IEDC has asked that we obligate our funds by the end of June 2023 or propose some type of obligation plan at that point. So the idea behind this discussion item is for you all to at least offer your thoughts on when projects should come before you for approval, or are they not moving? What should we do with those funds? Are they reallocated, reobligated at that point? So this is just really an opportunity for you to talk to the public about that item.
So I would ask, again, open discussion. I think it is a very important topic of conversation. Obviously, we were awarded $50 million minus our administration fees. We want to try to utilize that in every project possible. So let's talk a little bit about timeline and what our thoughts are to ensure that project leads have a little more definition around getting their information to River Hills so that we can execute as designed.
Well, we've talked, and we have this money, but we need the projects to move on, and if the projects aren't moving, then we're going to have to reassess our intentions in delivering this money. So I would suggest that by December,
Okay.
that we have, would that work for you, Corey?
River Hills doesn't really have any recommendations here. I would just say that if projects are not moving, there needs to be a serious discussion, maybe around December, and maybe sending them notification of some sort to notify them that maybe within 60 to 90 days, they need to come before the RDA board. Something like that, I would say. Just, we need to encourage all the projects to come as quickly, but doing their due diligence as quickly as possible so that these funds are allocated in an appropriate amount of time.
Right.
So then we should say December 2022,
Yep. A notification
A
to those project
notification.
leads. Yeah.
and that, what, 30, 60 days?
Right. I think River Hills is just looking for, again, they're working with the project leads every single day, every hour of every day. So knowing by the time we get to December 31st, there would be a notification to all those projects to make sure they're on target, and then giving them at least some conversation back to River Hills, talking about their obstacles, and maybe they are they're able to deal with those, but giving us some sort of a lifeline to know what the expectations would be.
So then we'd have till June, is that correct?
Yeah, by June 30th, we need to have all funds obligated in the eyes of the IEDC or provide some type of obligation plan to them.
Yeah, so Corey, knowing that, I think we all are looking at that December timeline, because it gives us, if we give project leads about 60 days, that gives us time in that time frame for June 1st. How would this be communicated to our project leads, and how would we take care of that process?
Sure, and I think that maybe what I should have said is, after this conversation, River Hills is happy to draft something, or at least provide a recommendation at that point. But I think that, if projects haven't come before the board for approval by December, maybe at that point, River Hills communicates directly via letter or email of some type, basically saying they have 60 or 90 days or 30 days, whatever you all see deem
Right.
fit, to come before you and to get approval for you to submit to the IEDC portal. I also should probably say, every single project lead, we're communicating with them on either a daily or weekly basis. I don't foresee this as an issue, but I do think that we need to have something in place so that if this problem arises, if we're sitting in March or April and a project hasn't moved forward, there's concerns, can they get moving forward before June? Because the last thing we want to do is be forced to do something with these dollars from the state.
Right. Do you find that other RDAs that you've been in discussion with are kind of looking at the same sort of a
It's a
process?
Good question. We are unique in terms of obligating our funds, how we did it. Several other regions, especially those that receive $50 million, they don't anticipate obligating their funds until February. So we're ahead of the game, so we're in good shape. But again, I think we need to stay as the lead horse in this race and continue on that path. So.
Okay. I think I'm hearing that we're all comfortable with the December 30th or 31st, and then if you could help us just to kind of draft that communication and work with the project leads. I think we're all in favor of that. No motion that we need here, but just discussion with the general process.
We'll do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we're going to be tabling the RDA meeting location discussion, and I'm going to look next to our item, financial update with Jill Oka. Welcome, Jill. Thank you.
I just wanted to let you know that you
Whoops. Yeah.
received the $250,000 administrative money from the IEDC on August 11th. That's in your account now. I do have a list of claims for some of that administrative money. If you could take a look at that and let me know if you have any questions about any of those. I also have the checks ready. If you approve them, we can go ahead and get those signed today. Your counting system has been set up, and we also included there's another sheet of paper in there, internal control certification. That's something that the State Board of Accounts requires board members to, it's a really super fun watching video on YouTube that you just need to watch about 45 minutes. And once you've watched it, it is a requirement that I get your certification form back. They will take a look at that. And so what I'll do is I'll email a link and you can watch it. Now, if you've already seen it and you've already certified it, and Steve, you've done that, I just need a copy of your certification form. So I'll get yours from River Hills. And I just need that back by the end of the year, so there's no rush.
Okay.
And I'll send you all that link. I didn't want to send it before today because I didn't want you to wonder what it was. So anyway, so I will do that. There really wasn't a need for any kind of financial statement, basically you have $250,000 in the bank. That's all the activity you've had. Now, beginning next month, there will be financials, as we get these projects going as well, there will be some pretty detailed budgeting for, what you've obligated, what you haven't obligated, keeping track of all the contracts that you have for the administrative money.
Okay.
That'll all, as it goes forward, there'll be more information, financial information, as your financial activity, kind of
Transpires.
heats up a little bit.
Right.
So,
Right.
do you have any questions about anything?
Do each of us need to sign this?
No, just one board member can sign that, that's fine,
You get to sign it.
All
but
right.
probably would wanna approve all of that.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, Jill, any other questions for Jill regarding, we're getting started with this process, but just notifications, any other questions about the process that Jill is helping us with to keep track of and to keep us in compliance? All right, so I'm looking for an approval to pay the claims as outlined by Jill Oka to Applegate, Pfeiffer, Pulliam, Frost, Brown, Todd, Jill Oka, and River Hills Economic Development District. So we're looking for approval of the claims that we have in front of us.
I'll make that motion.
Right, I have
I'll
a
second.
second from Ken. Any other discussion? All right, let's do a roll call vote. Steve,
Yes.
all right, and Ken,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and I am a yes. So that stands, the motion carries
Okay.
for approval of all of those
And
expenses.
And before we leave today, I just need a signed copy of that claim docket, and then I do have some checks to be signed.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Sign that.
Yeah, I'll take care of it. All right, thank you very much, Jill. All right, again, there's no legal update today. We're going to skip past that and go to our administrative update. And again, I'm going to invite Corey forward.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just briefly, one legal update. Obviously, I'm not the attorney, but we worked this week in detail with both Bo and Greg on the subrecipient agreement and the list of exhibits that are included in that agreement. There's A through F are the exhibits. And so they worked with us. They sat down in our office. We went through it all. So I would say that's the legal update at this point. In terms of the administrative update, I did provide 2 documents for you. One is a monthly reporting form that was created in-house. That is essentially, once projects get going, once they've been formally approved and signed the subrecipient agreement, River Hills will ask projects to fill out that form on a monthly basis. It'll simply be the reporting tool that we use to provide to each of you how that project is doing each month at our RDA meetings.
Okay.
Obviously, there's going to be other reporting requirements, likely from the IEDC, either on a monthly or quarterly basis. We're still kind of figuring that out at this point, but just wanted to provide that to you. If you have any feedback, if you suggest anything else, please let us know. That document's it's included in the subrecipient agreement that the project leads are signing, so they've seen this, those of them that have received that final approval. The second document is an Excel spreadsheet. Simply tells you where each project is down the line or in the process, And so if you ask me, I could tell you just about where every single project is off the top of my head, but it's a little easier to read where they are. We're still waiting on several big projects, but we expect them to come in October. Again, I revert back to what I said earlier. I don't think that any project is a red at this point. I think that all of the projects are at least moving forward or attempting to move forward in a timely manner. Last month, I think this is kind of the last thing I want to mention. Last month, we had discussed a Borden-Sellersburg Starlight Sewer project after a presentation from the Borden folks. We're having a meeting next Wednesday with all entities, all stakeholders, and hopefully have a lengthy discussion to try to figure out what's best for the region there.
Okay.
So, any questions about anything? The only thing, actually, I'll just tell you, some of the other projects that are significant or larger projects we expect to get within days in terms of approval from the IEDC or the Hanover Veterinary Medicine Program. Charlestown Wastewater Treatment Plant is close. The other Madison project is close. Looking at Andrea, what else? There's one more.
Ivy Tech Scholar House?
No, they're coming in October in front of you. I felt like there was another one, but we are expecting to get some of those. We've been working diligently over the past couple of weeks, providing the documents to IEDC and Ernst & Young, so that's all I have.
You guys are doing, we really appreciate it, doing a great job. I like the monthly project reports, just at a high level to see how, how people and how projects feel. any other major obstacles that you see moving forward, or some of the challenges moving forward with your team? Anything that, any of the processes that kind of bog you down other than the motion that we made today?
No, I think we're in good
Okay.
shape. All the project leads are very responsive. They're providing the material. The things that IEDC and Ernst & Young are asking for are pretty common, so we're trying to preempt those. If we know that IEDC or Ernst & Young is going to require a document for X, Y, or Z, we go ahead and reach out to that project lead as we're submitting, just to go ahead and have that. But Ernst & Young is doing a very good job at this point on reviewing the material and getting it approved as soon as possible. I wouldn't have said that 2 months ago, but they've seemed to have changed their speed, and they are responding at a quicker pace, and we're getting these projects moving.
Do you anticipate a general update from the governor or anyone on the global, all of the RDA projects, kind of where things are at for the state?
That's a good question. I think that publicly, both IEDC and the governor has stated there will be another round of READY, or at least he is going to push that in the state legislature annual budget session, which starts in January. They have a new name for it. It's called READY Repeat. So you won't hear us say READY 2.0 anymore. READY Repeat is the anticipated name. We've heard numbers, but they're rumors at this point. I imagine there's conversations happening right now with the State Budget Committee and the IEDC, possibly in the governor's office weighing in. I would say by November there will be some draft language. It won't be circulated, of course, but they'll have a good idea, probably November, January, what that draft language will look like going into the legislative session.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any other questions for Corey? Again, we want to thank you and your team at River Hills, our project leads, the lion's share of all the work and the productive measures are being done by all of you. So we thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, any other old business that we need to talk about today? Yeah, don't think we have any other old business. Again, I want to go ahead and state that our next meeting is set for Friday, October 7th. It's always the first Friday of every month, Friday, October 7th, and we will be at the Mid-America Science Park in Scottsburg, Indiana. So I'm looking for a motion to adjourn our meeting today.
One quick thing before we
Sure.
adjourn. I think it's very important that everybody out there, city, county, communities, realize that collaboration is the key to this READY 2, Repeat READY. And we need to start planning now for READY 2. Don't wait until 2 months or a month or 3 months before. If you have a vision, get your partners on board and start thinking about getting the nuts and bolts down. We want to be a player in READY 2, and we want the communities that we serve to be a part of this READY 2. So I would encourage everybody, counties, cities, municipalities, towns, to try to think of something that can benefit your community, can benefit the region. And the collaboration is the biggest part of it. We have seen that over and over again. And the ones that are successful collaborate. So I would encourage everybody, first one, contact your state legislators and support READY 2, Repeat READY. We need all the help we can get. The money benefits you all, but we need our state legislators on board and to know what's going on. And the second thing is to collaborate with people around you.
Right.
That's a big, big plus for this program.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you. Thank you very much. Remember, it's 5 counties that we represent, so we're looking forward to working with everyone in all 5 counties. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. All right, I'm looking for, again, our next meeting's Friday, October 7th, Mid-America Science Park, and I just need a motion to adjourn our meeting today.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. All right, motion carries. Thank you guys very much for traveling here today. We appreciate it.